We are back with another Cats and Rats NHL After Dark. I'm your host, Kirby Lupo, joined alongside my co-host, Cody Stevens. We're going to have a guest pop by here shortly. Maybe Caesar will get back from the rink. He'll join us maybe a little bit later. I think Nick Levine will be away this week. But nice to be back here on NHL After Dark, Cody. But as we wait for our guest here, I guess we can talk about a little bit, with not too many here in the chat right now, but the loss here tonight to the Edmonton Oilers, 6-3. Cody.
Yeah, what's up? Right now.
I know you're on your phone there, getting things set up. But
yeah,
the loss here tonight to the Edmonton Oilers. I like the effort tonight. I think it was pretty good by the Panthers. We could talk about the empty netters. We could talk about the goals that Bob should have had. But overall, I think the team did a good job fighting back after that lackluster first 20.
Oh, yeah. It was great effort by the Panthers, especially from the forwards fronts. Look, I'll take that effort 9 times out of 10. Like, you're going to win most of these games with an effort like that. But, look, if you ask me, just overall rough game from Bob. Like, I'd say about good 3 goals he should have had. About goals 1, 4, and 3. The third one, he was screened a bit, but what can you do? I mean, kind of lost his end a little bit, but
and we'll get to that a little bit later, kind of breaking down the rest of the game.
But Kirby,
yes,
our guy has arrived.
He's here.
He is here.
He's here. Our man Jim Behringer. He's going to end up on the injured list here if he doesn't be careful.
I know.
He got the Ekblad sickness.
I don't know if I got the sickness, but definitely vocal cords have been definitely been strained over the last little bit.
Hey. We'll get short. Jim said short one tonight, so we'll see if that's true here, Cody.
Yeah, we'll see.
Rapid fire with Jim, because Jim, he's still a Devils fan. It's down in the heart. I know he's a media person, but he can't hold down that fandom forever. He will always have a soft spot for him, as much as he tries to be impartial.
No.
Look, it's your team, but Jack Hughes, with one of the more interesting injuries we've ever had in NHL history, injured at a team dinner, leaning on the glass. And Jack Hughes has had quite a bit of an injury history last year. Dislocated shoulder and torn labrum, ended his year last year. Now this year he's out for a good 6 to 8 weeks. Jim, what are your thoughts on all of this?
I mean, like, what else is new with this team? You can't write this stuff up, man. You can't make it up straight out of Hollywood, right? Like, I mean, goes out to a team dinner, quote unquote, slips and falls and lands on some glass. Eventually, the real story will come out, and it's an unfortunate incident, and it's a quote unquote freak accident. Yeah, we still don't know how Luke Hughes got hurt last summer. Well, some of us know how he got hurt last summer. Kids, when training camp's going around, you don't act a fool on Lake Michigan. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
You don't act a fool, baby. Don't act a fool. But this one, well, I've done some digging. I know some things. We'll just leave it as it's a freak accident and it can happen to anyone. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I think Sheldon Keefe was quite a bit cryptic about it there last week when asked about it.
He's not happy. The team's not happy. Look, if they're not coming out and saying what it was and people are getting mixed messages, it's not what everybody says it is.
Yeah. And we are going to get to Panthers Oilers talk a little bit later. So everyone in the chat, appreciate everyone starting to file in here over from our post game show over there on X. Cody.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's be real here. It's a freak injury. We don't know how the hell it happened. I mean, look at Etu Luosterainen, burns himself on a barbecue grill.
Yeah, but at least they said he was burnt on himself.
Yeah,
on a
we were
barbecue.
surprised that Paul said that.
They said it. They didn't say it was freak accident and it could happen to anybody. That's
Frank,
the difference.
The whole Frank the Tank thing. It was Jack Hughes going out with celebrities right now. A lot of stuff around. It's very TMZ-ish. Jim, and I said, you know what team had to take the regular season serious this year?
Devils.
The New Jersey Devils. It was serious there for a while.
Look, I'm going to say this. I listened to Sheldon Keefe today. My Twitter's blowing up right now for the post-game quote I put out there because I listened to him and I said it and I heard him say it and I had to rewind it and I had to hear it again. He said it. Sheldon Keefe, I'm looking for players. I'm looking for guys that want to play. The compete level for the Devils tonight was not very good. He talked, like Bryce Salvador asked a really good question about, the characteristic of the team, uncharacteristic. And Sheldon Keefe's like, is it really uncharacteristic for us to give up 3 goals in 26 seconds? Since I've been here, that's been us. That's who we are. This is who we are until we're not. Like, Nico Hischier talked about the compete level. This team is inconsistently consistent or consistently inconsistent, however you want to put it. You thought at the beginning of the year, the mental block, they were over it. Nope. It's the same. Yep. It's the same stuff that it was a couple of years ago.
If that's the case, Jim, it was a big tease to start the year.
Right. And again, if there are Devils fans in here watching or whatever, still Markstrom's fault.
Hey,
I mean, like
on goaltending, at least the blame, I would say.
Hey, listen, on the Hughes injury front, the Lusteran injury front here, I have a list of injuries that have happened freakishly off the ice here in the history of the NHL. First one, Dustin Penner injuring his back eating some pancakes.
I remember that. Pancakes Penner, they called him.
Yep. Next up, Eric Johnson tearing his ACL in a golf cart accident.
That was the one. That one always sticks with me to this day. He was putting his leg outside the cart going full speed downhill maybe or something, horse playing.
And next up, Darren Turcotte punctured his eardrum with a cotton swab.
I saw that.
That was a weird one.
I use Q-tips. It can be dangerous, everyone. So.
And then Manny Fernandez hurt his neck when toweling himself off after a shower.
That's one of the most unique ones of all time. I saw that. Yeah.
Next
Brian Leach twisted his ankle on the New York City streets.
Yep. He broke his ankle getting out of a taxi. And Joe Sakic breaks 3 fingers while operating a snowblower.
Oh, I remember that one. Yep. Yeah.
Beezer cut his wrist open after sitting on a glass table and shattering it.
Everyone, I have a glass table. Please do not sit on the glass table. Like, get off the table.
And then Marion Gabrick
there too. Might add something.
Marion Gabrick pulling his groin, playing hacky sack.
There's a lot. There's been injuries with those guys playing soccer.
This one's kind of funny. Larry Robinson injuring his leg while playing polo. Wow. So this is one of these injuries.
Yeah, one of these seasons in the NHL where we're starting to attribute a few of these.
And unfortunately, all these guys have to be on my fantasy team. So
there we go.
Go figure.
There we go. But anything else there, Jim?
What on the Devils news front?
Devils Hughes front there.
I mean, they're waiting for him to come back. And look, I'll say this: this team shouldn't be a one-man team. They should have not lost their Flyers tonight. Yep. Like, plain and simple. Like, defensively poor, not helping your goalie. Yeah, he's just starting to score. Meyer's starting to score. All well and good. Where's this so-called depth scoring? As I said at the beginning of the year, I hate that I'm right. But you can't measure depth scoring. No, I'm not trying to be like I'm not trying to be. It's one of those things
you don't want to be right about.
Right. But last year in the final, I tweeted it out about the depth scoring that the Oilers and the Panthers had going into the final. You either have it or you don't. You can't measure it.
And listen, I still think the funny thing is that was Kirby's main concern for us going into that postseason run was our depth scoring. And our third line nearly had 20 points apiece.
All the defense would go Paul Coffey, Nicholas Lidstrom.
Yeah, Devils just got to figure it out. They know what life is without Jack Hughes. Guys got to step up. I don't think it's so much the Jack Hughes injury as the Cody Glass one. third line center. I mean, they were trying to find it. Lamico, they signed. He's not really doing much. They got to go get a center. But again, everybody's looking for a center, and 3 teams have centers, and one of the teams isn't moving Kadri. So now you have a team. Now you only have 2 teams with 2 centers.
Would Jack Roslovic, that we saw tonight, almost get a hat trick in the first period? Would he been a Devils fit? I thought that's a guy maybe.
Could have been a fit. Didn't take a run at it. They don't have money. That's the problem. They don't have money. They have no cap space unless they decide to shut down Kovacevic for the entire year.
No. But we'll move along here. Calgary and Nashville. Jim, you've been passionate about this. You've put some articles out there. Everyone can check Jim Behringer out on X, over on Instagram as well. Full Press Media Hockey. You've been talking about the Calgary Flames a bit, and you've talked about Nashville quite a bit this year too.
Yeah, Nashville, Barry Trotz, completely false expectations for what this team was going to be coming out of 2024. The U2 trip, the canceled U2 trip, right? Made the playoffs, 18-game point streak, but a lot of bad decision making. They could be further. They could be where San Jose and Anaheim and all those teams could be. Yes, that's the biggest mistake this team made, choosing UC Saros over Yaroslav Askarov.
Yeah, and it was kind of crazy because they were leaning towards going with Askarov a couple years ago when Saros was up impending UFA.
Yeah,
and they re-signed him. And
that's because Saros carried him to the playoffs, and Barry Trotz is like, well, I have my goalie. But the problem is it wasn't so much that Saros got the extension; it was Wedgwood getting the extension.
And now Wedgwood over there in Colorado,
right? You had your future goalie. You had a Rene Saros Part 2 with Askarov and Saros. You did.
Yeah, and then when Pekka, well, there's a little bit of a gap there, but Vokunda Rene, and it was very interesting that was the point of giving up. But it's all these contracts that get passed out, Cody, as well.
But it was just a bad decision. And you listen to Barry Trotz talk. He's like, well, we're building, we're toning, whatever. Nobody wants to use the rebuild word because no one wants to be Buffalo or Detroit. And I get it. But they had pieces. They had Dante Fabro. They had Luke Evangelista. They still have Luke Evangelista.
Tommy Novak.
Tommy
Novak. The list goes on.
I'll throw in my guy, Jankowski.
They had a bunch of guys that they could have built around.
Ellie Tolvanen.
Tolvanen is another guy.
And they put 2 of those guys on waivers, namely Fabro and Tolvanen.
Right.
And it
was on waivers like they had an abundance of them and they didn't need these.
And he went after the senior citizen of free agent classes, signing Stamkos to that 3x8 or whatever the hell it was.
4x8.
4x8, and then Shea to that 7x7. I hated that deal the minute I saw it.
And Marchessault.
And then Marchessault, whose deal was the only fair one, I thought, for what he was worth at the time. And they was like 5 by 5.5 or something like that.
Yeah, but teams like New Jersey, Montreal, and Vegas didn't want to go 5 years.
Yeah, and
they wanted to go 3 years.
Look, and for Panther fans, this is like, remember, before the Panthers re-signed Brandon Montour, they were going after Ryan Suter. Dallas offered him 4 years, and that's why the Panthers balked and went back to Montour.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
It's
with Trotz, he's moving away from David Poyle's draft picks. It's clear. Like, he wants his guys to shape. Matthew Wood is his draft pick. Well, it's his and it is his, but it isn't his because it was Poyle's last draft. But you're seeing the Matthew Woods, the Henrik LaRue, like guys like that. But the problem is the guys they got rid of were never utilized the right way because the coaches they have were wrong. And Trotz is too much of a coach and not enough of a GM to realize Andrew Burnett is part of the problem here. And he's part of the problem too.
And that's the other thing. It's like with GMs, it doesn't matter like the decision making. It matters to the decision making, but I think the biggest thing with GMs is when they know they are wrong.
Yeah.
And there are some GMs who know quickly, hey, I was wrong on this guy. Let's switch this out. Like, namely, let's say Bill Zito. He was wrong on Adam Boquist last year. Guess what? Didn't wait too long. Caught him in January.
But Cody, that's hard for Barry Trotz in Nashville to do because these are lower end guys on the depth chart. Where Barry Trotz, it's the reverse.
Yeah, and Trotz, and like, let's be real, Bruno was Trotz's guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing. That's something. Like, I'm pretty sure Bruno did play for Trotz, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's probably why. Yep.
And
late 90s, they're right near the expansion time.
Yeah, and look, and one thing was for certain when Brunette was coaching the Panthers, he was coasting on Q's system or whatever.
Yeah,
and a lot of people want to bring up like, oh, Jack got his like, come on, like I could have coached that team. We had depth out the behind that year.
Fans finally realized that, a year or two.
Look. Bruno's a great assistant coach. He's not a good head coach.
Yeah, and the thing is with Calgary is I don't like, as much as the blame is on Barry Trotz over here in Nashville, there's not really much on Craig Conroy.
There's zero blame for Craig Conroy because Craig Conroy can't do anything because Don Maloney is the real problem in Calgary, and so is ownership.
Yeah, I was going to say Murray Edwards or whatever.
I don't know if it's so much. I know it's Murray Edwards, but I think Don Maloney has his ear too much. This is the Glenn Sather problem that was in New York, where Sather was in Dolan's ear all the time, and this is the problem here because I've read Eric Francis's stuff from Sportsnet. I've heard what Maloney has said, but I go back to my talk with Craig Conroy last year. He talked about building towards the new building in 2027.
Yeah.
And he was on the right track with all the moves that he made. But again, false expectations, and the president of hockey operations like we're a playoff team. Kirby, what do you always say about the Flames?
When you don't expect anything out of them, they surprise you. When you expect something out of them, they always
And it's like one of those decisions where it's just like, I think Conroy wanted to rebuild last year.
He did.
That's the thing.
The emergence of Dustin Wolf forced them out of that mind to a degree.
But here's the issue. You go into the season, I am waiting to get confirmation on this, but my gut tells me Don Maloney's the one that said don't trade Rasmus Anderson in the summer. We're gonna hold on to him. And I won't be shocked if Don Maloney is the one that tries to re-sign Rasmus Anderson.
Yeah, because here's the thing, Anderson is going to get you a first plus at the deadline,
right?
And I wholeheartedly believe that. And their biggest if they move Anderson, you got to move Kadri right along.
Well, you don't have to move Kadri because Kadri can say where he wants to go.
Yeah, but
Tim, I just want to jump in on that point there, kind of that power play between ownership and management. Do you really think that's going to come to a head with Maloney and ownership versus Craig Conroy and Jarome Iginla? Conroy and Iginla are the fabric of the Flames.
The problem is Craig Conroy doesn't have a contract extension yet, and they haven't even given him one yet.
Would that go to Iginla?
Can Maloney get his claws into Iginla?
Oh, and then he kind of slides in next to him and kind of mentors him there? Oh.
Yeah.
Because Conroy and Iginla are really good friends.
Here's the thing. I'll tell you this one. When Markstrom got traded, Markstrom was gone at the deadline. Don Maloney wanted more for Markstrom, and that's why the deal fell through. Don Maloney was in Florida at the Stanley Cup final when Jacob Markstrom got traded from Calgary. Who made the deal? Craig Conroy.
Yeah, and this is where a lot of the issues with some GMs are, and this is why I don't, depending on situations, I don't judge GMs because Conroy has a vision for what he wants to do. Problem is he can't do it because some guys want to just kind of keep trying to win with guys that you can't win with. And
the other problem, Cody, is the Flames' other part of management is completely tone deaf on how the NHL draft works. It's like, oh, you can't find a franchise player. It's fantasy hockey. Not if you have the right pro scouts, amateur scouts, developmental coaches, skills coaches, and the right guy in the AHL to develop those players. And because I can list a handful of guys that the Calgary Flames drafted that are no longer there because they couldn't shake the narrative. We don't want to be there. COVID did a lot and hurt Calgary more than people want to say, because I think if COVID doesn't happen, Matthew Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau are still with the Calgary Flames.
Yeah. But here's the thing, and to that point, the top 4 point getters in the NHL, you want to know all the one thing they have in common? They're all first overall picks.
Mm-hmm.
If you go down further, all the way down to Leon Draisaitl, all of them are lottery picks. So to say that you can't find a franchise player in the draft is kind of crazy, because I'm looking at this right here.
I mean,
let's go.
Look what he did. Let's see. This was the problem with Maloney and with the Coyotes. Maybe that's why the Coyotes never succeeded.
Yeah, and look, Scheifele, top 10 pick. Leo Carlson, top 3 pick. David Pastrnak, top first round pick. He was like, what, in the 20s?
Yeah, he was 20s.
Yeah.
Look at Mikko Rantanen, 10th overall. I only know that because we were 11th and we missed out on him by 1 pick. Cale Makar, top 5 pick. John Tavares, first overall pick. Jack Eichel, 2nd overall pick.
Connor McDavid, first overall pick.
Like, I'm just going down the list here.
And if you go back to the 2025 draft, which was supposed to be a down draft, look at all the guys that are playing in the league right now.
Yeah, it's just...
And that's the problem. Don Maloney's tone deaf to the fact of, if you do it right, you don't have to be Buffalo.
Like, and here's the thing, Buffalo...
That's not going to get teams out of that situation of mediocrity because you're worried about you're going to be Buffalo, Cody.
Yeah, but Buffalo is such a rare instance of it happening.
Well, so is Detroit, too, because it took them 10 years.
And Buffalo, you can't wrap your mind around that because you've got the owner that's doing something on the football field but can't get it together on the
So here's my point on Calgary. You need to look at how the Islanders, the Sharks, the Ducks, and the Canadians have done things through the draft.
The Islanders got lucky with the pick that they got there.
Right. So then take the Islanders out of it.
Right.
Let's focus in on the Sharks, Ducks, and Canadians.
That have been bad for a while.
Bad for a couple of years. It was only 3 years. But you had the right GMs in place. You made the right hockey moves. And you realized by year 3, you needed to play meaningful games come the end of the season. So by year 4, you were ready to take the next step.
Yeah, and here's the thing. And the thing is with me, it's like, I know all the Canadian markets are huge. But if the Montreal Canadiens can sit there and say, oh, yeah, we got to rebuild, there's no reason for you to not rebuild, because Montreal is probably second to Toronto, the most recognizable brand in hockey.
Good point by KQ in the chat there. Didn't mention the Dave Nonis factor there.
Yeah, but Nonis fell flat in Toronto.
A pass, but you know.
Yeah, but he fell flat in Toronto. But here's the thing: Conroy deserves a shot here, and from what I've seen of him,
oh yes, definitely.
I don't think. Look, how can you freaking not give the man a shot here? Let him rebuild this team. And
I'm saying the Jerome McGinley thing is like the Roberto Luongo thing to us. You don't want to lose a guy like that when you bring him in.
Yeah, but Luongo's different because Luongo's more of an advisor and a GM now. Like, he worked his way up the ranks, and it's not like he's looking to be like a full-time GM. We
don't know yet from McGinley, but McGinley is a grand ambassador just like Roberto Luongo is.
Yeah, and then... But also the other thing is with Luongo is Luongo has a big say in the Florida front office, especially when it comes to goaltending.
Yeah.
His word is like the Bible over there. Because here's the thing, when Zito's drafting goalies, who's picking them? Luongo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's him and his brother Leo. That's who's running the goaltending.
It's not like a Ginla in Calgary's going to the draft table and saying draft these guys.
Yeah.
But he's got good enough pull with ownership too that he's been there. Like it's big pull, you know.
Yeah.
So.
The issue is Calgary needs to look at the right examples, do it. And like Cody said, if Montreal can hire Jeff Gordon after Marc Bergevin, and the issue was Jeff Molson finally said, okay.
But that was a two-man system in Montreal that they decided to go with. And some people are like, I don't know about that.
But the issue was Molson finally realized it in the final year of Bergevin. It's like, all right, I need to do it. Like, I need to bite my tongue and do it.
They gave Bergevin a lot of rope there and a lot of say.
Yeah. But on the Jeff Gordon,
but Gordon went in to Molson and said, "This is my plan. This is what we have to do. This is what we're going to tell the fans. But this is the general manager I'm hiring."
Yeah, and if we want to talk about Jeff Gordon here and his history, Jeff Gordon back in 2006 was the interim general manager of the Boston Bruins.
Who'd he draft?
Let's go through the list. Let's see all the moves he made. He drafted Phil Kessel, Brad Marchand, Milan Lucic. Those names sound familiar? Oh, he also signed a guy by the name of Zdeno Chara. I don't know. He just got inducted to the Hall of Fame last week.
When people didn't know what type of player he was at that point.
He also signed a guy named Mark Savard. No, scored big goals for
he
them
would
in
have
the
been good if
postseason.
not for the concussions. He would.
And then he traded for. I remember this guy. You guys know this guy, Tuukka Rask.
Oh,
that was the Phil Kessel.
The Toronto trade.
He did
that. Was a Sagan trade too, wasn't it?
Well, that's the Raycroft deal.
Yeah,
that's Rask was Raycroft. He did that in 4 months. And
I didn't know he had all that, Cody. You just educated me there.
Hey,
dude, Jeff, there was a excuse me.
Research, baby. There's
a reason why the Islanders wanted to hire Jeff Gordon and the Montreal Canadiens said no.
Like, it's
and this is what I'm talking about when I talk about the Calgary Flames have a New York Ranger problem. Glenn Sather and Mark Messier were in James Dolan's ear and got Jeff Gordon out of New York.
And what's New York done since then?
Nothing outside of two hotshot appearances to the Eastern Conference Final where they got absolutely murdered by two Florida teams. And I'm not trying to be biased here because the stuff behind me, but they did.
Hey, that stuff behind you embarrassed them one year. So look, I'll never forget that series. Dougie Hamilton changing the whole series, overtime winner.
But what I'm saying is you have to at some point embrace it, or else you're going to be stuck in the murky middle. And sometimes you don't get lucky, or you don't have the scouting staff to find a David Pastrnak late in your draft. Because guess where they found Johnny Gaudreau? In the fourth round.
And the thing with Johnny was, his size. Can he do it? And Johnny Gaudreau has become the poster child for undersized players in the NHL.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask guys like Cole Caulfield, that's who he looked up to right there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Jim. I thought we'd save maybe some of the Celebrini, Bedard stuff for next time or whatever. I know that's going to play out here over
the
stuff. Any other talking points? We don't have our students here. I know you mentioned the homework assignment thing, but was there any other talking points here that you wanted to discuss before we let you go? I appreciate having you here tonight under the weather here.
No, I mean, it's just more of the fact that I think I've overused my voice for a good little stretch here, but it's okay. Trying to tell people, Cody and Kirby, you guys know how it is. After a while, at some point, you're right, and you have to emphasize it that you're right over and over again. So,
yeah, to a degree.
Yeah. No,
me and Cody like to sprinkle it in over time. You guys forgot about this? Remember back when,
Well, this is what my whole point is why are the Leafs struggling? Why are the Oilers struggling to a point outside of tonight? Why is New Jersey struggling? You have to help your goalie out. Got to play defense. Forwards got to come back. Mm-hmm. And you can't rely on your goaltender to win you games because you don't have Dominik Hasek between the pipes.
And I also think it's the league, and Cody uses sometimes like teams have been inconsistent. There's been very few teams, like your team was at the top there of consistency, that haven't already hit a skid or whatever. It's going to be attributed to all these games, the way that the season is structured here right now. Paul Maurice came out today and said no one should get on the Edmonton Oilers. They've had a treacherous schedule to start the year.
Yeah, but it's no excuse for how they play defense in front of their goaltending.
Oh, yeah. If you're just talking that strictly, I'm with you all the way, Joe.
Like, look, I get it. Teams go through stretches. Teams have tough stretches, but the schedule and injuries and all that stuff is not an excuse because every team in the league goes through it. You got to play defense. You got to play the right way. You got to win your board battles. I know it's boring. I know it's cliche.
But certain teams that don't want to buy into that or that can't be preached that over and over.
Because the performance in Montreal...
We're spoiled by that.
The performance by Montreal, by Toronto in Montreal, gets GMs and coaches fired. Does.
Yeah, because other owners are looking at that team like, hey, why aren't we like that? And look, that's what turned up the heat on Verbeek in Anaheim.
Yeah.
It turned it up tenfold now. But
it's turned the heat is way, way up in Detroit.
Yep. And look at those two teams right now. Detroit top of the Atlantic with another win here tonight.
Big win against Columbus because that's the team they've been battling.
Yeah. This is the season to do it with the Panthers hampered, with the Leafs with their identity crisis, with the Oilers who've played a lot of hockey. These teams at the top here, Dallas is playing well right now. They've played a lot of hockey. This is the year to capitalize early on. That's why I've talked about it with the Montreal Canadiens, talked about it with your New Jersey Devils, Jim. Cody and I have talked about it with the Utah Mammoth, which I think it got off to, somewhat.
Okay, so you asked me about another note. So a couple of things. I listened to the headlines tonight by Elliot. So it's kind of interesting. By the way, go follow my channel at Full Press Hockey. Because Russ Cohen and I discussed the Olympic rink and how it's not finished and how there's no backup plan.
Yeah.
And the backup plan would have been Switzerland, but no one wants a backup plan. And everybody's rest assured that it's going to be finished on time. Or if it's not finished on time, the games will be off by the hockey portion will be off by a couple of days.
Okay.
But if it's not off by a couple of days and this thing is off by a couple weeks, I wouldn't be shocked if the NHL says, nope. We have a schedule to keep.
With all the stuff that happened with the China, Korea, like the COVID, everything.
I'm telling you right now, they are looking for any excuse to not go because we all know it. The owners don't want the players to go.
Oh.
And
that's going to be a war, Cody.
Yeah, that would absolutely.
How Connor McDavid that.
Look, I'm not saying it's going to happen because I do think it, but there is going to be a point.
I felt worrying you off air. And I'm like, I'm not panicking. I'm like, Jim's really.
I'm not worried about it. I'm just looking at it from a league perspective. From the people I've talked to, they're really concerned about it, and they're really not happy because Italy had how long that they knew they were getting the winter games in 2026.
I don't understand that part of it.
Yeah. And the building's not finished yet.
Is Italy in some financial crisis like Greece was back in the day? What's going on here?
We don't know, but the fact that it's not done and basically the NHL's holding their tongue until Christmas to say something tells me that they're really looking at either A, putting a backup plan in place to go play someplace else, which is probably not Turin, or B.
It would be North America's side.
No, it would probably be Switzerland.
During that same break?
Yeah.
No, that's okay. That would be a disaster. Not putting it in North America as a backup plan. People are going to be upset anyway.
Well, I'm saying I've heard Switzerland thrown around. That doesn't mean North America is not an option.
Yeah, and people are still frustrated with that. But,
the IOC wants everything on one continent. Well, guess what? When buildings and stuff are behind, this is what happens.
Well, yeah. Well, the problem with North America on late notice too, you have arenas booked with concerts and other things because hockey wasn't going to be taking place. But Edmonton and cities like that, they would come to the rescue.
That's why I'm saying I think the NHL is probably working on a backup plan to say, hey, this city, and this city, we need rings.
Yeah, 2-3 city hosts. But fans, I don't know how I feel about that.
But my other point is they're probably also going to apply a lot of pressure now to the IOC and IIHF and say, hey, you better have a backup plan in to figure out what those teams look like without our players.
We're the spotlight event. You could put figure skating in there, some other events. We're the spotlight sport, and we're bringing professionals over here, and we've done it here in the past, and we've had this we've had this like absence from a whole generation of hockey fan, you could say, or almost. We need to be there, right? They can put pressure on the ice.
And for those who don't know what the whole situation is, there was supposed to be a test event for the rink that was supposed to be happening in January, which was testing the ice and all that. Because
no, it's supposed to be next month. Actually, it was supposed to be this month.
It was supposed to be held in December, but it was moved back due to construction delays. And now they roughly have about 90 days because they have 90 days to kind of get a progress on this thing. And it's going to be kicked in overdrive because here's the thing. The first hockey event is supposed to be happening on February 5th.
And it's the women's hockey.
And it's the women's. And
I think the NHL is looking out for them too when it comes to this.
Because I think what the NHL is, based off what I'm reading on this, the NHL and the NHLPA are kind of thinking the same thing on this. Because they want safe conditions for their players. Because if they rush this, there's a good chance these conditions probably are not going to be safe enough. Because the ice may not be that great. You could have a bunch of divots. Guys could lose edges and go into the boards.
And that's why the nuclear option of not going is on the table.
Yeah.
The players will push back with not.
I understand that. But I'm telling you, that is an option because if they have to move the schedule around, because it's approximately 17 days, 3 or 4 days is one thing. A week, 2 weeks is another thing.
Yeah.
That's just because
the schedule's already condensed. You have to work in the playoff schedule. We're already pushing into late June as it is.
This would create major ramifications with, again, Jim, the players not being there the past 2 Olympics. And if this got pulled out from underneath the rug and canceled, I don't know what would happen in the future.
I mean, the thing is, I'm not saying it's happening.
Yeah, I know.
But it could be an option. And if it ever did happen, you can't be surprised by it.
The part, outside of COVID, the part why I don't think it's going to happen, very low odds, because I've heard this in the past with summer facilities, Australia, Greece, and things have gone off without a hitch. London, I think there was some talks of delays.
The Summer Olympics are different. You need to bring 3 chillers to chill the ice for 2 facilities that aren't finished.
Yes.
Yeah,
I understand that with the winter, there's more.
Yeah, because with basketball areas, it's mainly just
the court.
Yeah,
but if you've got a stadium, you got a hole in the roof, and you're dealing with weather, that ain't gonna fly either in a summer event if you're playing indoor.
But but also,
or it's dangerous. The structure's gonna fall apart.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm just saying.
You're worried about it, Paul. You're talking to me about it quite a bit.
Look, as a fan, I want to see it. But as somebody who knows this league and knows this owners pretty well, they're looking for any excuse not to go. Because it doesn't do them any good.
Well, that's a bombshell. Well, I don't know what they're trying to power play.
I think more often. I think it's more. It's more of a.
Why are the owners complaining? There's going to be more games, Jim, here soon. 84-game regular season.
Because that's money in their pockets. The Olympics doesn't do jack crap for them.
No.
The power move is this. My last point, because I'm going to go on this. It's basically a threat to basically say, get your ass in gear and get this thing done.
Yeah, and I'll just speak as a Canadian. Crosby's last legitimate chance, McDavid's first presence on like the best on best international scene when it comes to Olympic Games. This is not the time of the NHL and of the league to.
They're not going to pull out, but I'm saying that's the power move.
Yeah. The way the USA, I'll speak for you guys, the emergence of the USA program at the professional level, if not the best, it's right there with the best.
They'll still lose to Canada in the Olympics.
But I'm going to put it right there with the mid-90s, USA teams when they were bringing home gold and stuff like that.
They brought home 1 gold.
No matter. USA. USA.
Cody ain't gonna differentiate on that.
Anyway.
Listen, gold's gold.
Appreciate it here, Jim.
But before we say goodbye to Jim, I always got to do this when Jim's here
Why?
because it's time.
It's supposed to be in the second segment.
But Jim is about to be gone, and I need another person for the reaction. Your FSU trash can player of the last 2 weeks, because I couldn't do it last week, is once again outside the NHL. We're going to the OHL for this one. Mr. Luke Drakusika. I probably butchered that name. I don't care. Who some way somehow got suspended for the rest of this year, including playoffs, for a slash to his opponent's head. You can look it up, whatever. I said
he would be suspended for the year to our boy Ryburn. I said that's
and I think that's FSU trash can worthy, if you ask me.
Be, again, we're keeping it on the ice here, everyone. There could be criminal charges, but I don't know.
Is this Marty McSorley levels?
That's just stupid, dumb, and Todd Bertuzzi levels, Marty McSorley levels.
Like, this is one of the more dirtier plays that's ever happened.
It's just stupid.
Yeah, but
but again, I'm not gonna end the note on this. But you don't take fighting out of hockey. These things would happen a lot more rampantly. I feel strongly. If you take if people want to say take the physicality out of the game, well, you're going to get situations like this arise a lot more. But this should never happen. So
listen, if you're trying to take the physicality out of a physical sport, you're doing something wrong.
You're gonna have situations like that. That's the trend.
Anyway, once again, shout out to Jim for joining us here tonight. Once again, go subscribe to his channel, Full Press Hockey.
That's correct. Please do that. We've got some great videos. Great guests that came up. Kirk McKnight, Voices of Hockey. Great interview. Wrote the book. He also did Voices of Baseball. Great stories about legendary broadcasters, especially those broadcasters that have to do local and national games, try to keep their fandom out of it.
Oh, okay.
Namely Kenny Albert now.
But, well, Mike Emmerich back in the day, Gary Thorne, guys like that. But that's
Jim
cool.
used to be one.
Yep. A lot of good information in there.
Hey,
and when you watch it, you guys can have this debate. Was the Red Wings Avalanche one of the best rivalries in hockey history? You can have that debate amongst yourselves.
Red Wings Avalanche. Huh?
I think it's top 3.
I experienced it.
So anyway, just want to throw that out there. Russ Cohen up there as well. Kirby's on there. Shout out Kirby. NHL Insights are up there as well.
Yeah, so Celebrini and Bedard.
Celebrini, Bedard debate again. Flyers talk as well. So
hey,
I was going to add the Flyers. I was going to add the Flyers in the all-time rivalry in the 70s, even though I wasn't around then. But it wasn't against anyone. It was against the whole league, and they just bullied the whole league
until the Canadians saved it.
Yeah, and the Soviets. Don't forget about that. But,
they bullied the Soviets.
But anyway, we once again thanks to Jim for joining us as always. As we say goodbye to Jim, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Caneswear.
Panthers fever is here. Are you geared up? Caneswear in Davie is the place for all your Florida Panthers needs. They have the latest gear for our favorite NHL team. Jerseys, polos, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. Caneswear has you covered. Stop by their store in Davie or at pantherswear.com. Again, that's pantherswear, WEAR.com for all your Panthers gear.
And another word from our other sponsor, Jeremy Beckham with Beck Sells FLA. Champions don't settle, and neither should you. Let me introduce Jeremy Beckham at Beck Sells FLA, bringing a competitive edge to South Florida luxury real estate. If you want a home that performs in all 3 zones, location, lifestyle, and long-term value, Jeremy is your power play. The clock is ticking. Let's go for the cup. Reach out now at BeckSellsFLA.com, and that is BeckSellsFLA.com.
Well, we are back in the chat. Been a little quiet tonight here, maybe after the loss here. But we're here, win or lose. So, Cody, should we just wrap with the chat here? If you guys have anything for us to ask us on the game here tonight, this is the time. We did do our post-game show over on X, so always make sure to join us after games on Saturday nights because we're going to be over there. During the holidays, we'll have a lot more time on the weekends. The Friday game with Calgary will be over there probably for a few hours. The Flyer game next week, we're planning to do the live stream here, Cody, with you and Banksy and myself.
Let's see if we can improve to 3-0.
Yeah, looking forward to that 3-0 on the live stream, hopefully. Yeah.
But I will say this: the games next week for Florida are very winnable for Florida. Even though I know Philly's playing some good hockey, I still think they're beatable. Jack Devine, Heckenlander soon has to learn how to play the Maurice game first. Has to go through, the rookie trials and tribulations.
Yeah, I don't want your boy to get frustrated with that because he's like pounding the drum with Jack Devine, the big Mikola supporter too. But I think to expect like 15, 17 minutes might be a bit much.
And by the way, your boy Mikola needs to play better.
Yeah, he's trying to divert over to Devine there now. But yeah.
But like I said, once we get Gadjevich back or somebody back, I think, that's when Devine will go back to the AHL where I think he needs to be there more right now than the NHL from what I'm seeing. Just learn how to play the professional game and all that per se. But listen, whenever we get the chance, like I think once again, like I said, once we get a bit healthier, listen, I'm done with Jesper Boquist as of now.
I just said this last week, like, what do you expect from Jesper Boquist in the top 6? You already know what you expect. So put Mackey up there, give Devine maybe top 9, placement. I would already have had him there. But again, they're riding with Greer right now, who's been a hot hand. They have a real belief in Jesper Boquist, a little bit more than, all of us kind of do. But, last year I saw it. What did he go 24 games without a goal last year? It might have been 27. And he played good in the playoffs there. But when you're playing next to Sam Reinhart and Alexander Barkov, it's like Jack Rothovic tonight, playing next to Ryan Shotgun next to Connor McDavid. Well, yeah, you're going to find some goals. You're going to find a lot more opportunities like playing there,
We have a hot take. I feel Bob should not be playing many back-to-backs and Tarasov should be getting more starts, I'm assuming. When you have a goalie like Bob, he's going to determine when he's going to start or when he's not. Especially
and not no disrespect to Kazi or whatever. No disrespect, but it's not going to come from the fan base or from the outside after not being happy after a game. It's like that ultimate trust in Bob is there. That's why, Cody, we've heard that they want to sign him to an extension. A lot of fans kind of wished Bob away a few years ago and said it's Spencer Knight's net, right? And we wouldn't have had these opportunities in these situations and these championships if we would have wished Bob away, right? So, and we all talked about how to get out of the contract, Cody. I think we're all quite surprised by, we're entering the last year here and the things that have transpired over the last 24 to 36 months. But I think, Cody, you were there with me, right? Bob, it's like we're not seeing him go by. I know you wanted to see Knight see more starts and increase starts, but you weren't just going to hand the net to him there for what Bob had done. But Bob, he had to show up and play. He had to come back off that Lions situation. He had to perform like he did in 2023 in the playoffs when that situation was not looking, bright going in and through that Boston series. And then that light switch flicked on for Bob and Barkov in that series. They got a lot of people for that.
And they changed the Panthers franchise ever since.
Yep, right. So that's why when Bob has these off nights, I reflect back to the bigger picture and not things like that. Hey, and I had some fans this week call us on the post-game show, fans of my DMs. Kirby, are we seeing the age of Bob? I'm not sure on Bob. The other night he got a shutout, right? So it's like Bob always respawns and resets after these games. I don't see anything differently in his game to change that. And Cody, like you said, we've had so many injuries in the line. Just because we've had more guys on defense than, but not with Ekblad tonight here, but we've had more guys healthy on defense than we have had up front. That still affects your overall play. Leaving the zone, forwards coming back on plays, things like that. Look at that first period. Go watch that first period. Forwards did not do a good job coming back on plays. Edmonton was just going to the slot, a lot of high danger chances, getting a lot of opportunities. Panthers didn't do a good job, and then they readjusted there. And if your goalie doesn't get play early on, I'm not saying tonight, Bob was not good. If goalie doesn't get good play in front of him, those are going to be the situations a lot of times. And that's what I fear, Cody. Bob's not in net, what this team would be.
Yeah, and then your boy says if they can't do the Olympics on Milan, thoughts that they do it in New York Arena. They already have the Islanders arena scheduled for All-Star. But here's the thing. That would ruin the entire Olympic experience, period, because that's all the Olympic experiences, staying there in the Olympic Village and all that.
You're going overseas. Now, if like what Jim said, there's a backup alternative plan. I get what you're saying, your boy. But that's Long Island. We're not talking New York here. We're not talking Montreal. We're not talking Boston. We're not even talking Edmonton.
And this is a 1 month thing where, UBS Arena could have a concert booked or something along those lines, something else booked there.
Because you're told with that event. That's
So a whole bunch of things. And I don't like that idea.
Because I don't like that idea either, Cody, just to jump in, because they're going to get something back in return. It doesn't have to be something like this. And again, this is just an example, something that Jim's heard or is putting out there, not saying that he believes in it fully.
And then secondly, what about the people that have already paid for their plane tickets to Milan, their hotel rooms and stuff like that to go there and watch hockey?
Or they're going or primarily
Yeah.
I don't even know if you could put in replacement.
The Olympics are 2 months out. You
couldn't even put in replacement teams because the amateurs are not expected to go.
Yeah, and it's just like
I think it would be a situation.
And none of those amateurs have time to train for the Olympics. There's a lot of training goes into this.
Yeah.
And the whole selection committee, it's just
the American team be the Canadian team, the Swedish team. It'd be a mess.
It's just AT&T internet issues. CSR at AT&T didn't understand my humor. I'm missing the cats and rats. Hey, that's a pretty good reason if you ask me.
Hey, we just cross our fingers some days that we don't have any technical issues. We've been pretty good on that. I lost power once or twice for our post-game shows over on Spaces, but we've been pretty good here on YouTube.
And then would canceling Olympics cause a player lockout? I don't think it would because of these circumstances. It's not the NHL's fault that Italy didn't have the rink ready, nor was it safe enough for them to go play in it.
I don't think they could turn it on Gary Bettman and the owners and be like, hey, wait a second here, right? Or, any officials that are affiliated with the IOC and then with the NHL. Some people are going to take heat there, but I don't know how much that could turn.
I don't think it would be kind of bad for the NHL to take the heat for something that happened that had nothing to do with them.
Yes, but there might be certain people in the office that are going to take heat. But as a bigger picture, like your boys kind of alluding to, I don't think that.
No, because based off what I read from Freeman, the NHL and the NHLPA are kind of in the same idea boat when it comes to this, based off what I'm reading.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Page with it.
Yeah, there's an understanding within the NHL and the NHLPA.
Yeah, and the player union can't look at the owners and look at everything in the NHL like you guys know everything that's going over there in Italy. There's a lot of things that are involved in the Olympics. This is not an NHL sanctioned event. This is IOC.
Right? But anyway, you want to wrap there?
Yeah, we can wrap there. A little bit quiet here in the chat tonight, but guys, we're gonna be all right. I really like the effort here tonight. Make sure to follow us here. Oh, Cody, before we do go, we should get some housekeeping items in. Want to give a shout out to our new members there the other night. One offline, Aaron B. And then we mentioned Jose as well. So Aaron signed up, I think, after we went off air. So guys, make sure if you're members, reach out to me in the YouTube members only chat so we can get a hold of your social media, your contact information, because we're going to be doing prizes and we've got some extra stuff set up for members. So make sure if you guys want to sign up as a gold or silver member, extra perks there, tickets. If we ever have any extras, can go over to you guys. We'll look to you guys for first priority there.
Yep. So
make sure that you guys are letting us know in the YouTube members only chat because we haven't had some of you guys shout us out. Jo, still waiting to hear from you there. So Jo as well over there. But
and last question before we wrap, is the Ekblad sickness food? I'm assuming so. I have no idea.
Yeah, Lex, one of our co-hosts over on the Spaces side, she was alluding to a tweet that came out there. But
it could, but anyway. But once again, do we have any contests going on as before we're on the way out?
Yeah. I was just going to put it on at the end there, Cody. Everyone follow on the way out. I'll put it on the screen. Our latest contest, the Florida Panthers versus Nashville Predators. If you can follow those rules there.
Yep. put thumbs up on 5 of the videos and screenshot the reviews to KJ_loops on X or at cats_n_rats_podcast on Instagram.
Yep.
Earn those club level tickets. We will be drawing for those soon.
Yep, very soon, sometime early, middle of next week. So you guys know if you've won them, you can plan your evening for that. Yep.
But we thank you guys for watching with us here today. Once again, shout out to Caneswear and Jeremy Beckham, our sponsors. Yep. For Kirby and myself, and for Nick and Caesar, who are not here, we say thank you. And as always, let's go Cats.